That's enough of that, because I'll get done for copyright. I just wanted to show you all the intro because it's really, really cool. I might play around with it. I might edit it and change some of it so it's like got my logo coming out and then blood spills everywhere and then do something like that. But yeah, guys, I know this is like 3 days late. Should have been here Sunday talking about this. House of the Dragon, episode 3. Breakdown, live chat. Same guests as last week. We've got Baby Ice, we've got Charles. I've even put the link in other places if people want to come on and join. As long as you've seen the episode, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to get to everybody in the chat. Say hi to everybody. It's nice to see everybody's here. Anthony Weeble says, I have arrived. Anthony Blaze with the eyes. We've got Christina Payne. Thank you for being here. I love that Christina Payne's here to support, and she's never even seen Game of Thrones, never even seen House of Dragon. She was supporting Headless Ned Stark the other day as well, and she was saying the same thing. She's never seen it, never watched it, but she's enjoying the chats. Shout out to Headless Ned Stark as well, because I was poorly this weekend, so I didn't go live, but I got to hang out and listen to his stream, and that was cool. So yeah, thank you for being here, everybody. Arcade Pop, much love, brother. Good to see you. LJ, thank you. I appreciate you stopping in. Kenneth Bird, you too. And Anthony Blaze says, hi, Ryan, in capital letters. Hi, Anthony. Be warned. Youngblood. Hashtag arcade family from Youngblood. I really appreciate people being over here. I've never watched or listened to it either, so I'm here to learn. Okay, well, I will explain that we will be having spoiler talk in this episode, because I do talk about the episode as it was as a whole, and we talk about things that happened in there and stuff that we might be looking forward to in the future. But yeah, without further ado, guys, I'm going to bring on some of my guests. Reef says, hashtag arcade family, can't stay, haven't seen this episode yet, my friend, much love. We'll let it play in the background silent. Really appreciate you, Reef, thank you very much. And yeah, guys, that's all I ask, is you watch the episode and then you come and listen to me break it down, and yeah, we'll just go from there. But let's bring on the guests. So we have Baby Ice and we have Charles, so we're going to bring them on. We've got Jester Poppin and we've got Baby Ice 9119.
Okay.
How's it doing? How are you guys?
Okay.
You had a good week?
Yep. Good week.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Me and Jester Poppin have just come from the Horseman Live, where I was hosting. That was a Funko channel. It's predominantly a Funko channel where we'll talk about all sorts of stuff, but we also talk about NFTs and stuff. But that's not why we're here today, guys. We're here on my channel, and we're talking about the House of the Dragon. So I want to get Baby Ice. What did you think of the episode as a general, without going into spoilers? Just what did you think of it?
OMG.
OMG.
Yeah, OMG everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what about yourself, Charles?
Started a bit slow for myself, but gained speed quickly, and yeah, I can't wait to see what's next. So, yeah.
Cage versus Cage came in and said can't stop either, but been sent over by Arcade Family. Arcade, thank you very much for sending everybody over. I really, really appreciate it.
Yes.
And thank you everybody for being here. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out or on your way in, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're pushing for 500. We'd really appreciate it. So yeah, it was a bit slow for you, Charles. That surprises me, because the way it started, we had a massive dragon breathing fire all over the place.
Well, that part was all right. I think after that it kind of slowed a little bit. You know, there was the power, and then it just kind of, and then at the end it was
How many times have you watched it this week? Just the once?
Twice.
You've watched it twice this week?
Yes, I watched it last night.
Awesome. And yourself? You watched
Yeah.
it twice as well, Baby Ice?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I still have you beat. I've watched it 4 times.
Oh, jeez.
But I have been poorly, as I said. I've been poorly this week, so I haven't had much time to go out and do stuff. So I just kind of stayed at home and watched it. Yeah, I would, without going into spoilers and without ruining the storyline so far, I would say it's okay. I'm okay with it. I was a little bit like, I agree with what you're saying, Charles. It was slow. It was reminiscent for a Game of Thrones fan, and I wish it wouldn't be. I want it to stop using so much reminiscent of Game of Thrones. Like we had the king went on a hunt. That was the whole, basically the story of, the story. He went on a hunt. There was a stag that showed up that was supposed to be a significant meaning to the family. It was, without going into spoilers real quickly. So yeah, I was a little bit like, I don't know, I was expecting more, I think, but I do have previous book knowledge, as I have explained many times, and I struggle to think, right, okay, what are they going to put in this episode? I was hoping there'd be more, and there wasn't, but it's okay, because we've still got 7 episodes, and I'm super hyped that, 3 of the ones that we have had have been absolute fire. So, definitely. I messaged Headless, you're live, Ryan. Thank you very much, Christina Payne. I appreciate it. If he's busy, he's busy. I don't expect everybody to be able to pop in. It was a very random thing that I did this today, and it is quite late for me. It's currently 4:45 in the morning on a Wednesday morning. But hey, it's absolute crazy. So yeah, what's up, Headless Ned? I watched it again and bumped it to a 9 out of 10. Dude, awesome. So yeah, that kind of it kind of what I've just said in the chat there, how it didn't give me what I wanted, doesn't reflect my score that I gave on Sunday night when I spoke with Headless, because I gave it a 9.5 and it was my highest voted video yet. I've now seen it 3 other times, and it's probably not my highest rated video. Number 1 was probably my highest rated video, but again, I need to go back against all that. Number 1 had the nostalgia fact for me. It was back. It was Game of Thrones is back again. So yep. I was a bit probably under the nostalgia umbrella with that one. But hey, so we've been live for almost 10 minutes. When I get to the 10-minute mark, I am going to be talking about spoilers. So if anybody hasn't seen the episode and is still here, I haven't given much away, but I will be giving pretty much play-by-play from the start of the episode all the way through in about 2 minutes' time. So if you're still here, cool. If you're not, then I thank you for being here for the first 10 minutes and appreciate it. So yeah, do you, now that you've seen the story, does it make you want to read the books? Are you interested in reading the book? Or listening to the book, the audio book, for example? No?
I would read it before I would listen to it.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I've never been into, books on tape or anything, Now, maybe this winter in my plow truck, maybe. If my truck, if I could plug it into my truck and listen to it, I might. Because sometimes I'm in that truck for 12 hours a day. I get a lot of it done real quick.
You would be able to finish the book if you have a 12-hour shift, you'd be able to finish the book in 3 shifts. It's a 27-hour long audiobook.
There you go.
Or depending on how long you read. I do, but I still don't want the spoilers for the show because I love it. I won't give spoilers for the episodes coming forward. I will literally talk about what we saw in episode 3. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into book knowledge. I'm not going to go into anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep that fresh for you all, because it isn't fair for you guys that I could ask leading questions and stuff when I'm looking for answers that you guys don't even know the answers to yet, because you haven't got the prior knowledge that I've already got, which is fine. But yeah, I am absolutely loving the audiobook. If you sign up to Audible, you get a free book every month, and you can actually download Fire and Blood and you can listen to the book. I have noticed that you can actually listen to the first 12 chapters before you even understand what's going on with the new series. So the first 12 chapters of the book explain everything that happened before House of the Dragon. And then it kicks into gear, and then you start getting spoilers and things like that. So, Nick Bayer, thank you for being here, my friend. Thank you for stopping in. It's good to see you. So yeah, guys, we're 10 minutes in, so we're going to talk about spoilers, okay? So, spoiler warning, everybody. We jumped 3 years forward, guys. First episode back. This episode back this week. The time isn't stopping. The time is flying forward. We jumped 3 years. Like episode 2, we ended it with Viserys talking to his panel, his small council, and he said to them that he was wishing to marry Alicent Hightower. And it pretty much ended there, didn't it?
Mm.
Well, this week, she's got a baby, a 2-year-old baby, and she's pregnant with another one. We fast forwarded 3 years in time.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Personally, I don't mind it because I know the time frame that we have to make up. You know, over the next how many episodes. In the other chat that we had about this, it was brought up that we don't really know much about their relationship, Alicent and the King. You know, but really, I'm starting to feel there is no relationship there. It's just out of necessity, basically. You know, personally.
Okay. Do you feel like it was just to further the line to give him a child to... Yeah, because that's all... From the episode 1, he wanted a male heir, didn't he? That's what he wanted. He's wanted that from the start. So what do you think, Baby Ice? Are you happy with the fact that it's gone forward in time, 3 years in this episode?
Well, like Charles said, I mean, you are going to have to make up for a time span over a certain amount of time. So they're going to have to do that. So, I mean, I'm okay with the way it landed. At least it didn't go too far out, you know. It was only a couple of years versus like 10, you know.
Okay, but you're a Game of Thrones fan, right? You've seen all of Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. So you know what it means to a Game of Thrones fan to have a wedding, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The Red Wedding being the primary example.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So for a Game of Thrones fan to not get the wedding, that even if nothing happens at the wedding, you know, they ended it with, we thought we were going to get a wedding. I thought we were going to get a Game of Thrones style wedding, and then we came into it and we didn't. So I don't know. I'm a bit annoyed. Maybe they should tell us what's going to happen. Like if they, I don't know. If they put it out there and said episode 3 is for 3 years in front, episode 4 is going to be this year in front, you know, then I'd be more inclined to know, okay. Like I've read that the young actresses that are playing the 2 girls, next episode is their last episode. 4 or 5. They're doing 5 of each and then 5 of each of the older people. I'm not sure I want to lose the young actresses. I think they're brilliant. Rhaenyra is my favourite character at the moment.
Yeah.
What about you, Baby Ice? Who's your favourite character? Rhaenyra?
Uh-huh.
Charles?
I've always said Hightower, right?
Otto Hightower?
No.
Corlys Velaryon?
Yeah. Dreadlock. I've always said him. I've always said he. I don't know why. I just that character pulls me. But we really didn't. Spoiler: we really didn't see much of him in this episode. Maybe 2 minutes. About 2 minutes. That was it. I'm kind of starting to lean towards Rhaenyra. You know, honestly, because she's really proving herself. She doesn't have to, but she's going to. You know, she's proven herself that what she can do, and she doesn't need a man to help her. So,
yeah, no, she definitely doesn't need a man to help her. So I was a bit shocked when we got the scene that there was a baby. Now, Game of Thrones ruined it for me last week by showing us the next week's scenes at the end of every episode. I hate that they do that. Just let us be surprised next week with what's coming. I don't need to see next week on Game of Thrones. Because sometimes you show us the whole best bits of the episode. And then when it finds out next week what we've actually watched, it was basically the best bits of the trailer that you showed us. So, you know, if HBO are listening, please don't keep showing us these things. I know you can choose not to watch it.
Right.
But as a massive Game of Thrones fan, any content is content for me and I will watch it. You know, so it's annoying. But this week I have definitely avoided what's coming next week. I am not watching it. I don't want to know. I want to be surprised. But yeah, so let's get into it. The first part of the episode, we see Daemon flying around at the Stepstones with his dragon Caraxes. Absolute badass scene. just seeing dragon fire. Last week, you all heard me. You can go back on the channel and see. I was begging for fire last week. I was saying this is a Targaryen show with dragons in it. Why are we not seeing dragons and fire? And then it opens this new episode with boom, fire. And I was giddy. I was laughing. One of the best things that Game of Thrones makes me do is laugh at people's deaths and people's like crazy stuff. Like this dude at the beginning of this episode is being chained to this pole by the bad guy in the episode, the Crab King, and he's swearing, and he's given us a lot of stuff that we can take forward into the episode. He's telling us who the king is. He's telling us who's coming for him. He's doing all this, and then he sees Daemon flying in the sky, and he shouts up at him, "Daemon Targaryen, my king has saved me." And I'm not sure about you guys, but did you chuckle out loud when the dragon flattened the dude?
Yeah,
a little bit.
It was like, oh, he was
wow.
hoping for him to save him, and he's the one that actually killed him. You know,
I was giggling my head off. I was like, trust Game of Thrones to turn something serious into something so joking instantly.
right?
You know, begging for the king to save him, and then the dragon just stands on him. I thought, what a sweet episode. Jeremy from LSAPC says Daemon is a badass, definitely a wild card, but handled that battle like a boss.
Yeah.
Nick said he couldn't get into Game of Thrones, but he loved this. I'm the same way, Nick. I watched a season and a half, couldn't do Game of Thrones. I'm loving it.
Nick, it doesn't make me annoy you. It doesn't annoy me at all, my friend. Game of Thrones came around at a time when there wasn't much else on, in my opinion, and it was picked up by a lot of people, and a lot of people loved it, and a lot of people raved about it and talked about it all the time. And I got to admit, that's why I got into it, you know, because everyone was so on about it all the time. And you have to be part of the conversations at work and around your friend groups. And when they're talking about things that you have no idea, you end up going and watching the shows. But no, I just hope that for the people that never watched Game of Thrones, I would love, as a Game of Thrones fan, if at the end of House of Dragon, one person decided they wanted to watch what happened in Game of Thrones, then for me, I'd be happy, because it did what it was supposed to do in my eyes. It brought back a franchise. You know, we've got so many Game of Thrones franchises in development that we don't know where it's going to go in the future. They've got so much power. George R. R. Martin wants to turn it into like a Marvel universe, where we're going to have so much connected and so much around Game of Thrones as a whole. So yeah, you know, and Daemon did steal the episode. Headless Ned Stark said he stole that episode for sure. And I said to Baby Ice the other day, I said, it might have been today, he never spoke really. He said one or two words in the entire episode. At the very beginning, he was screaming for the crab guy, but then he didn't speak all the way through that episode. He didn't speak.
Nope.
He got off the dragon and he beat the dude up that delivered the message that his brother had helped him and sent 2,000 ships. You know, it was crazy. So, you have Jester as your name, Poppin. Any reason?
The character, the Jester.
Yeah, you had fun with.
You pointed it out to me, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's a new character. And to me, new characters being added in is important to me, because I want to see that progression of new people coming in, going out. You know, we're going to see death, so we need to see new people as well. Otherwise, you're going to run out of people to look at. But again, not seeing Game of Thrones, not reading the books, I think there's going to be a lot more to do with the Jester down the road. I don't know if I'm right. I'm probably wrong, but that's just my thought.
Yeah, I think you could be right. To be honest, I do think you could be right. That it could be good. I do think that he was definitely a new character that they haven't quite introduced properly yet. They just had him in the background, and he was there as a chess piece for the king and the princess to talk with each other. Yeah. I thought, like, I was watching Headless Ned Stark the other day, and he said that he kind of forgot about that scene. Like, he didn't think it was that impactful. I know that he's watched it back again, so he might have different views on it, but I thought it was such a powerful scene that she comes in and she kind of demands the space. She's like, Rhaenyra says to the Jester, keep playing, I am your princess, you'll do as I say. And then Alicent, who used to be her best friend, who is now sleeping with her father, comes in and says, I am the queen, you will leave the Godswood right this minute. And she overpowers her.
Yeah.
even though Rhaenyra is heir to the throne, when her father passes, if he passes, then it makes sense to she would have power, but it was a very good power move for her to make her do that.
It was a powerful yet comical part of a very serious series, and it was just a very powerful moment between the two because you could really see the relationship between the two girls now. They used to be best friends, and now they're like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I wish I had seen a bit more dynamic between the two when they were friends. I wish I'd have seen a bit more of that, but it's okay. They've got to progress in the story, and I know what's coming in the future. So when we get to the future episodes, you're not going to hear me saying, "Oh, I wish we had more conversations between this and this person," because I'm just going to be screaming dragons, dragons, dragons. But yeah, Nick McBayer says, I've got to admit, since episode 1, I'm team princess, not team queen. Okay, so you are team Rhaenyra and not team Alicent. So, okay, you could say you're team black. Just going to put that out there. You're team black and Alicent is team green. That's not a spoiler of any sense. You know that it's going to be building towards two sides, and there's going to be quite obvious friction between the two sides. One of them's going to be known as the Greens, one of them's going to be known as the Blacks. And that's the way it's going to move forward for people to reference what side they are on. Because what I'm loving as well is this show will divide people. Like, we're all friends here, and I'm sure we will all have different opinions, and we could all be on different sides. And there's only two sides, don't forget, but there's 3 of us, and we could all be on different sides. Take from that as you will,
Right.
It is crazy. So let's get back into episode breakdown. Sorry, do you have something to say?
Yeah, with the 2 girls, you actually see Alicent trying to make an effort to get Rhaenyra to talk to her, and Rhaenyra is just the one shutting her down. Just like, I don't want to talk to you about anything. She goes, and she just did what she basically was commanded to do.
Like, so you've just brought up my point exactly. We are friends here on this stream, but I completely disagree with you. She broke all trust with her friendship when she slept with her father.
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, but
you have no right to come and talk to me or approach me in any conversation ever again in the future after you did what you did. That's how I think. That's how I believe, and I got that from the look that she gave her at the end of episode 1.
Well, right, but you also got to think, again, she is also another pawn piece as well, because her father was the one, pushing for that, But did you notice she stopped biting her nails?
This episode, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I see Alicent as manipulative, but I also see her as easily willed. Like, it's her father Otto that has been pulling the strings. I watched the show. Otto Hightower is the main threat in the show, in my opinion. He is so sneaky. He is so devious. His daughter, who is nearly 9 months pregnant by the looks of it, had just been out on an excursion with the family, showing the baby off, because it was the baby's second name day. And, that basically meant that he was no longer an infant. And a lot of the people that were in the setup of the throne are suggesting that King Viserys should probably overthrow Rhaenyra and name him hand to the king, because he is the firstborn son to the king. He is legitimately the rightful heir, because in the history of Game of Thrones, women don't sit on the throne. You hear a line from Rhaenys in episode 2 to Rhaenyra, and she says, men would rather see the throne burn than see a woman sitting on the throne. So, hey Johnny, how you doing?
Hey Johnny.
Thanks for being here, brother. Jeremy says, but it's her duty to serve the king. She doesn't really have a choice. But you see that though throughout the episode. He plays it on. He gives her a choice. Later on in the episode, he says, "Go find somebody to marry. Go find," because there's a big argument earlier in it. In the midway through the episode, where the king is telling his daughter Rhaenyra, "You need to marry. You need to have a baby. You need to succeed the line. You need to strengthen your claim to the throne. You need to have all this stuff. It's known on the royal family to better it and to be better, bigger. And she doesn't want that. She reminds me of Arya Stark so much that she doesn't want to be her mother. And she also seen in episode 1 her mother died in labor.
Yeah.
Why would she want to have a baby when she watched her mother? Well, she didn't watch her mother die, but she knows her mother died in labor. So it must be off-putting, and I wouldn't want to do that either. Definitely
I
wouldn't
think
want to do
that
that.
kind of upset her, the comment when they were in the little wagon thing, and Allison had made the comment, oh, well, he came with no fuss. That was basically a dig at her mother because she died giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and it's questioned to believe, Otto Hightower, as you can tell, is pulling strings around here. And Otto Hightower is the noble family of Old Town. And in Old Town, that's where the Maesters are based. So Otto Hightower has a very big connection to the Maesters. So, one could say, are the Maesters helping or hindering the king? Because a lot of that side want different power. They don't want Viserys. And that's the way it comes across in my eyes anyway. Otto Hightower definitely doesn't think that Viserys should be king. He thinks he should be a king, or at least his grandson when he gets there.
Yeah.
For anybody that's watched the show, do you get Littlefinger vibes from Otto? I know I do.
Yeah, I do.
I said in episode 1, I felt like Daemon did that in episode 1. He got the vibe, but it's definitely Otto Hightower for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, yes, I was referring to Alicent doing her duty without choice. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Alicent feels like she's just walking around pretending to be queen. I don't think she has any power as queen or has any want to be queen. I think she's just doing what her dad's asked her to do. She got pregnant, So yeah, what do you think to... What was I going to say? So we had another dragon in the episode. Did you notice a different dragon? This time there was a new dragon. Did you notice that, Baby Ice? Did you notice that one, Charles? The new dragon?
Yeah.
So that one's called Sea Smoke. And that one is rode by... I've lost his name, but he is the elder boy of the Valerian family. So you remember meeting the little girl that was 12 years old, that was to bed King Viserys in the second episode. That's her older brother. And I couldn't believe how quick he'd grown in 3 years. Because in the second episode, he's a little boy.
Yeah.
And then in the third episode, he's a tall, strapping young man who can ride a dragon and say Dracarys in a very weird accent. I found that was quite weird, the way he said Dracarys.
Yeah.
Well, is that old Valerian?
Yeah, it probably was old Valerian, yeah. Were you surprised that he was a dragon rider? Did you click that from the start?
At first, I was a little confused at first because I thought only full-bloods could actually tame the dragons. So I didn't think he could do that. But then I remembered Jon Snow and, the whole thing back with Game of Thrones. That, So that I understood after the fact.
Yeah, so his mother is Rhaenys Targaryen, so he has Targaryen blood. So therefore, when he was a baby, he would have had a dragon put in his crib when he was brought up, so he would have made that bond with that dragon growing up. That's how he can fly. Also, the 12-year-old girl that you saw in episode 2, she also flies a dragon. She's a dragon rider too. So that we'll see that more in the future, I think. But yeah, Sea Smoke is a really cool dragon. Yeah. Pure white dragon. I think I do have a photo on my phone somewhere of it. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I am slowly building up to get to the main scenes, which was basically the battle with the Crag King. But just before we get there, we have Daemon come down and land with the Valerians. That they're at war currently and they're losing the war. We find out that they're losing the war and they need help from the king. Nick Bayer says, Milky, any idea when we would get Hiccup or Toothless in the episode? Oh, I love it. I love it. If you want, one day I will do an edit on a YouTube video, and I will make sure that they're in there for you. They might pop in. They might pop their head into the corner of a video one day, just for you, Nick. Just wanted to pop in before I head to bed, said Johnny, and show some support. Thank you, Johnny. Really appreciate you.
Sweet dreams, Johnny.
But yeah, I'm not going to be on much long, guys. Another 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're going to shoot off. It was just a quick live to get our thoughts and to get everybody's thoughts. So yeah, let's go a bit deeper into it. So, not Viserys. Viserys sends help. He sends 2,000 ships and some men to help with the battle in the Stepstones. Now, if you ask me, it's a bit too late. 3 years. He says that the war's been going on for 3 years. What will 3 more days wait? Well, it needs to be done now. You're a king, and you're having your throne and your power questioned, and you're just wanting to party and get drunk and go and kill a boar. Like, come on, dude. You know, seriously. You know, I don't like him as king. I love him as a character. I just don't like him as king. I think he's sleazy. I think he's boring. He's just got no power.
He seems like he's scared of his own power or something. I don't know how to put it. You know, he doesn't want to make a decision, like you said. So I don't know.
So I think it's because he was brought up and he succeeded the heir of Jaehaerys. Jaehaerys was the old guy at the very beginning of the show who chose who was going to be his successor. During the heir of Jaehaerys, during the reign of Jaehaerys, it was peaceful. There was no fights. There was no wars. Everybody got on with everybody. So I think that he might be thinking he wants to try and do that line. But that's not the case anymore. It can't, you know, you can see that there's people close to him that are getting in, wanting to get in on it. And you can see that he's vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was a massive thing that he never took the stag down in one blow. He had to hit the stag again with a second blow, which was a bad omen for the king.
Yeah.
You know, it shows that he wasn't prepared. It shows that he's not ready and suitable to do the job that he needs to do. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you have the white stag that they've been talking about throughout the episode that shows up to Rhaenyra. And she chooses not to kill it. She chooses not to do that. And I think that was a symbol of honor and a symbol of peace, that the rightful heir to the throne, was shown upon for the stag. What did you think to that? Did you think that she should have killed the stag?
No.
Took it back to her dad and said, look what I did and you didn't?
But I did like the reference with the boar.
Okay. You want to expand on that?
Well, because the boar in Game of Thrones is actually what started the whole, you know, downfall of Game of Thrones. Because of King Robert.
Mm-hmm.
So now, could this boar basically represent the same thing? Now we're going to go into a downfall like we did with Game of Thrones.
Okay, yeah, I see your reasoning and your logic. Definitely, that's what I said at the beginning of this live stream. I feel like Game of Thrones are throwing nostalgia at me too much and throwing stuff that we've already seen at me too much. You know, like, yeah, we know Robert. That's how Robert went out. He went and tried to fight a boar, and he was drunk at the time. And throughout the episode, so was Viserys. He was very drunk this episode. He kept drinking. Like, one of my favorite scenes throughout the entire scene is where he's sitting on the seat drinking, and the whole room is laughing. And you can hear it in the background that his empire and his realm isn't with him. You know, he's a lonely man sat on that seat, I think. But yeah. Nick Bayer says, Ryan, did I miss how they got rid of the King's grayscale? It seems like he did not have it in this episode. Yeah, so I don't think the King's got grayscale. I'm just going to put that out there. Grayscale is a disease in Game of Thrones that can kill you. It'll turn you to stone. Charles, I know that you don't have that knowledge. In Game of Thrones, it is highly contagious. If somebody has grayscale and you touch them, you also get it. And it starts to make your skin crusty and you turn to stone eventually. You die from the outside in. It's horrible. But yeah, I don't believe, Nick, that he does have grayscale. But we will see. Did you guys notice the missing fingers?
I was just going to bring that up. So the maggots didn't work, huh?
Yeah, the maggots didn't work because now they had his fingers chopped off.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? Did you notice the green glove? Did anybody notice the mishap with the green glove?
No.
So there was a scene in the episode where you can see his hand. You can see a green glove on his fingers, and that was the green screen glove that they forgot to remove in editing.
Yeah.
But I noticed it is there. So yeah. Johnny says, "Mad love, Ryan, going to head to bed. Have a good night, and I'm proud of you, Ryan. Keep doing the great content. I love your passion." Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah.
Much love, brother, and I hope you sleep well. So yeah, we're gonna get into it, right? We're just gonna go straight into it. If you think I should have brought anything else up before we go to this, then please feel free to stop me. But okay, so we have the fight at Stepstones. We see, I think I saw 4 dragons flying in the sky during that scene when we can see the whole sky and we can see the whole field, the battle down here. I think I saw 4 different dragons in the sky. So I'm hoping that we get to see a lot more of those. But yeah, so Daemon gets a letter from the king, and it says, "I've sent 2,000 ships to help you, sent some men." And Jeremy put it perfectly in the chat. He goes, "King Viserys is a mess. He's cracking under the pressure." That's true. And a little too late, says Jeremy. Daemon said, "Hell no. I don't need you to save me. Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he absolutely destroys the messenger. Like, don't shoot the messenger.
And I think that's the reason he did it, is he doesn't want the help, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because if his brother sends all these troops and all these ships, he's going to look weak, and he can't look weak.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he does what he does.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the question: who actually asked them for help then? Because they got a letter from somebody saying they were requiring help.
It was probably the Kingsmen, the King's Guards, that Daemon took with him. They've probably wrote back to the Citadel or to the King and said, "Look, we need help at Dragonstone, help us out." And they've gone. I think that some symbolism around the Iron Throne is that I think the throne chooses the king as much as the king chooses the throne. That's very true. Yeah. The king can hurt you. You know, the throne can hurt you. It's sharp and it's, you know, you sit on it wrong. George R. R. Martin says in the books himself, if you sit on the throne the wrong way, it will hurt and it will stab you. You got to remember it was made out of like 5,000 swords and stuff. It's a very dangerous throne, and that's why he keeps injuring himself on the throne. Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely symbolic of the throne is not right for him. Yeah, I love that you're seeing that, Jeremy. I really do. So what? Daemon smashes the messenger and says, "I'm not having any of this," and he goes and finds Kragas, the crab feeder. I loved the scene. I got, again, Charles, it probably won't resonate with you, but Jon Snow, Battle of the Bastards, he stands in the middle of the arena with the sword, and there's thousands of horses running at him, and it's one of the most iconic scenes in Game of Thrones history. I feel like that scene was kind of mirrored here. You had Daemon put his sword down and wave the white flag and say, I give up, come and get me, it's fine, you win the fight. And the crab feeder comes out, takes the bait, sends his men forward. And then Daemon, I don't know what happens, but Daemon just absolutely loses it. And I loved it. I was screaming at the TV, like, yes. You know, the dodging, the weaving. Like, if you're going to shoot an arrow, shoot it where you think the person's going to be, not where they're currently at. You know, I've learned this from video games.
The only thing I had a problem with in that scene is if he's running away from the people shooting the arrows, how are they still getting that close to him each time? And he's going further away.
Yeah, no, I get it. So it's just all cinematic and make you feel like, oh, that was close and stuff. It was a cool scene, don't get me wrong, but some of the stuff that they do, it's just not practical.
Right.
And I wish it was. Like, I could go back to at the beginning of the episode how I thought that the dragon flame didn't look real to me. Caraxes dragon flames don't look real to me. They don't look like old Game of Thrones fire.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they used a new CGI company and it looks a bit different. But it looks cool. But so, spoiler alert, guys. the crab feeder is dead. Daemon survives the onslaught of everybody attacking him and sees him through the mist entering a cave, and he decides to follow. Now, Baby Ice, were you disappointed you didn't get to see the kill? Were you disappointed you didn't get to see the fight?
Yeah.
Yeah? Would you have liked to see that? Especially with the way he came out. He looked brutal when he came out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You would like to have seen that fight.
That's almost what I'm starting to wonder here. If they got a lot of backlash from Game of Thrones for being so graphic, now are they going to hide all the good stuff that Game of Thrones gave us in this?
I don't ever recall them getting backlash for being too graphic.
Well, if you think about how they always portrayed everything, it was very graphic and detailed. They're not doing that with this at all.
They're not doing that with the human elements, in my opinion. I think that they're focusing more on the dragons and the details within the dragons.
Right, but again, we're missing huge parts that we should be seeing that we're not.
Yeah, the crab feeder isn't a huge part of the story. The crab feeder is a place marker to establish the understanding war that's going on within the Stepstones. And it builds... Crab feeder is purely there to build the relationship between Corlys Velaryon and Daemon Targaryen. That's why he's there. He's not much of a storyline character.
Right. Well,
that's why...
He's dead now, so...
Yeah, he's dead now. So I liked how... And I'm going to, let you know, that's not the way he dies in the books. The crab feeder doesn't die like that in the books. It's a different way. So they have adapted it differently for the show. And I enjoyed it because I was expecting something else to happen at the end. And it didn't. It was something completely different. So I'm happy with that. I was surprised. Build up Daemon basically, says Ned Stark. So what about you, Charles? Were you disappointed that you didn't get to see the fight? Did you want to see a big...
Not really, because I think you saw it coming. Once he made it to that battle, you knew, and he saw him that he was done. And one way or the other, he was going to be dead by the end of the episode. You could tell that. So,
and what did you think of the bad guy as general? What did you think of the crab killer? He didn't speak at all in 3 episodes.
He just moved his arms. He seemed kind of like, I'm just going to hide behind my army. I'm not really going to do anything. He was more of a, he wasn't really a leader. He was more of a manager. Just kind of, I'm going to tell you what to do, and I'm just going to stand here. I'm going to let you go die. And then I may walk out, but I'll probably just go back in here and hide.
Yeah.
So I'm having a feeling that he didn't put up much of a fight towards Damien, because it wasn't that long and he was back out there dragging.
It wasn't that long, no, but he did look like a mess when he came out.
Oh yeah,
he looked like an absolute mess. Now, I guess chopping a body in half would do that to you.
Mm-hmm.
I've never tried to chop a body off in half, but if I ever do, I'll let you guys know first-hand experience. Wanted more from him, honestly. Just weird that he's basically hung out on the beach for 3 years.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good point. There, Headless Ned. He did just hang out on the beach. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I liked him as a character. I thought he was okay. He served the purpose that he was there for, in my opinion. It was just to be a bargaining chip or a reason of fracture between Targaryen, Viserys, and Daemon. So where do you think we're going? Where would you like the story to go, Baby Ice? How would you like the next episode to be? What do you want to see? Well, it ended with Daemon winning, so
we'll see. I guess this really bases on how much of a time jump we get. Because if we do short term time jump, I think I see a power pull between Daemon and Rhaenyra kind of forming. Because she's stepping her game up, and so isn't he. So could Viserys basically reinstate the fact his brother could be there. You know, if certain moves are played correctly. But maybe going further, I don't know how far out I could really base off of that principle. You know what I mean?
So next episode, you want to see a definitive answer as to what he's doing with the throne. Like, is he going to keep it with Rhaenyra? Is he giving it to Daemon? Is he giving it to his newborn son?
Yeah.
You want to know what he's doing with the throne next episode. What about yourself, Charles? What would you like to see in the next episode?
I don't think we're going to find that out for 2 more episodes, is my guess. At least. Okay. This next episode, the new baby's going to be born. Or possibly born, let's put it that way. Or could be 10 years old. Who knows? With the next jump. Daemon, he's going to come back home, of course, after this fight. And I think it's going to be a little... it's going to be tense between him and the king. You know, yes, the king was going to send him help, and I think he's going to feel resented because of that he waited, and then he went without him and just did his own thing anyways. So, him and Rhaenyra, I honestly think they're going to bond instead of pull apart from each other, because they've already got a good relationship. It seems like. Now, she said she hasn't talked to him in 3 years, which is the time frame we just left or, jumped from. She said she hasn't talked to him in 3 years or whatever. But I don't see a huge disconnect there. Not yet. So.
Yeah, I don't see a disconnect between Rhaenyra and Daemon at all. I see, if anything, Rhaenyra and Daemon getting closer. I think Viserys is kind of pushing her away, not giving her the things that she needs or wants within the realm. He's promised her all these things and these glories, and he's not. I don't think he's going to give it to her. I don't know. We'll see. Headless Ned Stark, thank you for stopping in, buddy. He says, "Great stream all, but I got to head off. Have a great night." Thank you, guys, and anybody watching on the rerun. If you enjoy my content and the things that we're talking about, Headless Ned Stark also has a channel. I'd like it if you all would go over there and subscribe. Let him know that Milky sent you. And yeah, watch us all as a collective, because I think everybody's opinions is different on Game of Thrones, and I think everybody should share them. So, yeah, I'm going to ask you guys now to rate the episode 1 to 10. So, Baby Ice, rate the episode 1 to 10.
Solid 8.
Solid 8. What could have made it better? What could have made it a 9?
Probably more action.
More action?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that you want more action. Like, we got a lot at the beginning and a lot at the end. For a Game of Thrones episode that is very political. Like, even the King Viserys says it himself, I'm fucking sick of you all talking politics. Yeah. Yeah, he was drunk and he said it, but hey, I don't know. More action, I could see it. But what would you want? More dragon fights? More... You want to see actual deaths?
Well, like I said, I think they're missing that aspect that you got from Game of Thrones to an extent in this. So I think I'm just kind of missing that kind of hype up like Game of Thrones had. That is not so much in this.
Yeah, and I think we're building to it. Like, if you remember from watching Game of Thrones, there is usually 1 or 2 episodes per season that stand out, that are bangers. And I don't think we've had that episode yet. I don't think we've had the banger episode. So, I know Nick Bayer says that he would like to give this episode a 7. There's always room for improvement. More dragons, more battles, please. I agree. More dragons, definitely. So you gave it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
And to pop it to a 9, you would like to have more action. Mm-hmm. Okay, and what about yourself, Charles?
Let's see. On Headless Ned, I think I gave it an 8 the other night. I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna go 8.5 now that I've watched it a second time. What would make it better for me is, it's gonna sound weird, but more of a relationship progress between Rhaenyra and her guard, or knight, whatever he is.
Kristen Cole.
Yeah. Some kind of what's going on there. Something's going on there. You can tell sooner or later, I think. But it'd be nice to see that progress a little bit. But I don't know. So.
Okay, so you're going to keep it an 8.5.
I'm gonna jump it up to 8.5.
Yep. Okay, I think I gave it a 9 on Sunday. Did I give it a 9 or a 9.5?
I don't remember.
Yeah. I think I gave it a 9. I'm going to take it down to an 8. I'm going to lose a point because, I don't know, maybe watching it 4 times doesn't help. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but I think watching it 4 times probably didn't help this week. I sentiment everything Nick said. I would like to see more dragons, more battles. Might sound weird coming from Milky, but I want to see incest. This is a family of Targaryens. They're all mother fucking, brother fucking, sister fucking family.
Well,
I want to see.
Isn't that what they were basically trying to do with Rhaenyra and the baby?
They would, yeah, but they're not going to have sex straight away like that. But I get what you're saying.
But that's
I would like to see that.
Intending upon.
Yeah, and the Targaryens do that so that they can strengthen their own bloodline within the dragon family.
Right.
You know, if 2 Targaryens sleep together and they have the Targaryen gene, and then it strengthens that bond with the dragons, but it also makes things worse in the long run for genetics and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna come down, and I think next week I would like to see more incest. I know that sounds weird to ask for that, but I would like to see it. So I have a question for you. Who do you want Rhaenyra to marry? You can choose anyone you want. Who do you want Rhaenyra to marry? Baby Ice, go ahead.
Her guard if she can.
Kristen Cole. You want her to marry Kristen Cole?
Yeah.
Okay. And why do you choose him? What's your reasoning for that?
Well, because you can tell they have some kind of spark and that he cares about her because he even made the joke with her, you know, do you want me to kill him? You know, and it just seems they have a well-rounded connection and that she now that she doesn't really have anybody else that she's turning to, it's like she's turning to him type thing. So I just think they have a connection that, you know, you can just sense it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to answer before I ask you, Charles. I would like her to marry. I would like her to marry Otto Hightower.
Oh,
I just think it'd be funny. Because
horrible.
I think it would be funny. I don't know why. I know that he's hungry for power and she technically has it if she's heir. I don't believe for 1 minute that Viserys is going to take it off her. I genuinely don't think he's going to take it off her. But I would like to see him with Otto Hightower. That would be a really funny relationship. So go on, Charles. Hit me with it. Who would you want to see Rhaenyra married to?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Jester.
Oh. The Jester.
I don't know why. He just seems like a cool dude. Baby Ice took mine. The guard, most likely. But yeah, I mean, the Jester would be a great spin, an interesting story, and I don't know. I understand. She's the princess. He has to do what she says, but they had like a playful reaction to each other as well. They weren't like subordinate and boss. They had a little bit of spark there. I could tell. And I may be wrong. Who knows? So
I'm
going with the Jester.
I would like Otto to be removed as Hand. And I would like Hand to be given to Lionel Strong. Because from the beginning of this show, Lionel Strong has been the one constant goodness in the show. He has tried to set up Viserys with the right people. He even says to him in this episode, I personally think you should get with the older boy of the Velaryon family. because it strengthens the bond. It brings the queen that never was into power. She kind of gets a bit of power, makes that friendship relationship better. So I'm surprised that none of you said that you would maybe want to see her get with him, because he was quite a big role this episode. You know, he did quite a few things with the dragons, like when he flinged that person across that room, across that whole vast area. That was quite funny. It was quite a few comical areas. Nick, I love your comment, my friend. I'm going to bring it up because I can on my channel. Milky, I would hate to know what's your browser history or your Pornhub history. Oh, yeah, exactly. Especially if I'm asking for incest.
Yeah.
Was the jester only playing the instrument when Alison tried to speak to Rhaenyra? No, he was playing it as she arrived, and she told him, continue playing it, don't stop just because she's arrived. All I'm going to say is keep an eye on the jester, guys. Don't forget about the jester. The jester is a very important piece in this story. He is very important, so just keep an eye out on him. But yeah, guys, we're almost coming to an hour, and we've pretty much gone through the whole episode. I'm going to save what I want to give away till next week. I'm going to give away something next week. We'll give 2 items away next week. I'm going to find a channel. I'm going to be pressed for time to try and find one now in the next 4 minutes. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming over and spending time here. It was a bit different this week and a bit quicker and a bit sporadic. I want to thank everybody that was in the stream. It was up to like 14 people at one point, so I'm super stoked with that. Like my 3rd ever episode and 14 people. It's really, really cool. If anybody would like to come on as a guest and anybody has seen the episode, reach out to me. More than happy to have people come up. I'm planning on trying to get Headless Ned Stark to come on one day as well. So that should be fun. But yeah, we will. I guess we will see you all here next week. I will be live a little bit later next week on Sunday because I will be supporting a friend who is also going to be live on a different channel, and I don't want to compete against them. So I will be a little bit later on Sunday, but I will be on Sunday. So keep your ears marked and your things bookmarked. The best way to do it, guys, is just to subscribe to my channel and leave the notification bell on, and then you'll always be notified when I get a new video dropping. And I think YouTube notify you 30 minutes before any live is due to go up as well. So you've always got plenty of chance to get in. But yeah, Charles, thank you for being here. Baby Ice, thank you for being here. I can't wait to hear what you all think next week and everybody's opinions on how the show is going. And Jeremy as well, everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. I hope you all got out your Game of Thrones House of the Dragon spurs that you needed to, that you've been holding on to for 3 days. I appreciate it. But yeah, my name's been Ryan, guys. This has been a breakdown reaction episode for House of the Dragon episode 3. And yeah, I suppose we'll see you all soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.